Hi, my name is Katerina and I'm going to be doing an abdominal dressing change. So I've already looked at the physician's order and I've gathered my supplies, so I'm ready to go into the patient's room. So I'll knock on the door and do my entrance safety check and hand hygiene. Hi, my name is Katerina. I'm going to be your student nurse today. I'm just going to check your wristband before we get started. So the wristband has the patient's name and birth date, which matches the order, and then I'm going to verbally confirm with the patient after. Okay, today we're going to be changing your dressing since it's due to be changed today. So what that is I'll be taking your old dressing off, cleaning the wound, and then putting a new dressing on. Is that still okay with you? The patient says yes, and I've already given them an analgesic prior to this. So I can do hand hygiene again and begin setting up. So I don't need my drapes, so I'll just put it to the side. And then I can set up my garbage bag. Then I can start adding supplies to my sterile field. And then I can add my normal saline, which isn't expired, so I can use it. And then I can set up my wound measuring guide. And then I'm ready to take off the old dressing, so I'll do hand hygiene and put on clean gloves. So I can take off the old dressing. And note the amount of drainage. It's soaked with 50% serosanguinous drainage with no odor. And then I can take out the old packing. So I can note the approximate length and that it's soaked with 100% serosanguinous drainage with no odor. And then I'm going to measure the length and the width of the wound at this time. So the length of the wound is 14 centimeters and the width of the wound is 2.5 centimeters. So I can make note of that for my documentation. So I no longer need these gloves, so I can take them off, do hand hygiene, and then I can put on my sterile gloves. So I'll just be careful to only touch in the 1-inch border. So now that my hands are sterile, I can move this, and then I can touch anything in my field now. So I would activate the Cathlon and then remember to put it in the sharps container when I'm cleaning up the bedside later. So I'm going to irrigate from the center to the outside from cleanest to dirtiest until it runs clear. So I can see that it's run clear. And then I can dry the wound bed. So now I can dry the wound bed, my 4x4, just letting it lap up the saline. And I'll do that one more time to make sure that it's dry. So just watching that my forceps are far away from the wound edges. Okay, so the wound bed looks dry now. So now I'm ready to clean the peri-wound area. So I'll do the one swipe, cleanest to dirtiest. One swipe, cleanest to dirtiest. And then I can dry the peri-wound. One swipe, cleanest to dirtiest to dry it. And one more. Okay, so once that's done, I can assess the wound bed now that it's clean. So it looks like it's 100% granulating tissue and the edges don't look rolled or macerated. So I'm going to measure the depth of the wound right now. So I'll just mind my sterile gloves, make sure I don't get too close. So it looks like the wound is 2.5 centimeters deep. And I'm also going to check for undermining or tunneling, which I don't see any. So I'll just make note of that for my documentation after. And now I'm ready to pack the wound. So the order's called for acrylics, so I'll soak that in saline, bring out the excess, and then get ready. Okay. So I'm just going to position my scissors so that they're easily reachable if I have to cut the gauze. And then I'll just start at one end of the wound and pack. Trying not to let the gauze touch the wound edges in any way. So I'm going to cover the wound edges now. Okay. So I'm satisfied with how the wound edges are covered, so then I'm just going to cut off the excess without letting it touch the peri-wound there. So this would be garbage. Same with my scissors. And then since my hands haven't touched anything, I'm just going to arrange this last piece of gauze how I like it, so that it's covering all the edges, so it's not packed too tightly or too loosely, and all the edges are covered. So now I'm going to put on my 4x4s, and I'm using forceps just to make sure, in case my sterile gloves touched any part of the wound, that I'm maintaining sterility. Okay, so my hands don't need to be sterile anymore, so I can take off my gloves. I would do hand hygiene, and now I'm ready to put my MeFix on. So I'm going to peel the backing off and just touch the very edges, because I don't want the unsterile backing to touch the sterile 4x4s. So I'll just be careful to only touch the area that won't go anywhere near the 4x4s. And then I can do the same thing for the second one. So just touching the very edges. And then I can put my initials and the date on the MeFix. So the next nurse knows when to change it. Then I would clean up my bedside, do my exit safety check, and then document in the wound flow sheet all my findings from the dressing change.